And so let me take you through a demo here and you can see what this drawing leads up to. Now let me make a comment again about the drawing process. If I had been doing this drawing that we're about to take a look at the step-by-step process for, if I were drawing it just for myself and not as a demo, I would not have drawn it quite like this. Some students look at that and it's so formal and they wonder, well, do I really have to spend all of that time, all of that effort, and it's just all going to get covered over and pretty much lost in charcoal? Well, that's a good point. That's a reasonable concern. When I'm drawing for myself, I definitely think like this. I definitely keep these ideas going, but the drawing is less formal, quicker, and looser. It's also lighter. I don't draw this dark with the orange Prismacolor. I had to increase the contrast on this frame just for your benefit so that you can see it clearly. The actual drawing is less than half as dark as this. Very light, very delicate so as to not score or disturb the paper. Okay, just to make that clear for you. But because I was doing this as a demo, I wanted to really take my time and formally commit to where each of the major lines are. And that gives me the ability to go right in with the charcoal with confidence that I'm putting the right marks in the right place, finding the dark accents, putting down my darkest darks, specifically so that I won't lose key parts of the drawing as I work over them. These darks will maintain themselves. Next, massing in. What's in light? What's in shadow? Now I'm working the values. Now I'm pushing and pulling and keeping my tones blended, making sure that my forms are starting to read. So let's move to the next frame, which is this one. I want to take a moment to just warm you up to the idea that this is not a technique class, in the sense that I don't want to suggest to anyone that they have to draw the way that I do or have the technique that I have. So you can see how dirty I get when I'm drawing because I'm pushing and pulling, pushing and pulling. And so in these demos that I'm doing for you, when we go live and you see me working, not still frames, but in process, you see that. But I always come back to the point that we're learning principles here and then applying those principles selectively depending on our artistic intent and depending on the model and the subject that we're working from. So you're absolutely welcome to dirty yourself up the way that I do, and we'll also take a look at other techniques where you don't have to specifically do this sort of thing. I've had students who have gone on to be professionals and do professional work, and for some of them their technique is 180 degrees different than the way that I work. I'm thinking of one particular artist where he carefully just spends lots of time just rendering with the tip of the pencil and does gorgeous work. I don't have the patience for it. I do a very much an opposite kind of approach. And so we bring it to a finish. Here it is. This is a rendering of form in shadow. So here's your assignment. I used this photo, I turned it into black and white and burned out the lights to show you specifically what we're looking for this week's assignment. In the same way that last week, your assignment was to do yourself a favor. Don't worry about the darks, only worry about the lights. So we dropped all the darks down to black with zero information so we could really just take our time rendering in the light. This week we're doing the opposite. This week we're dropping our lights just to white, to the paper, and we're really taking our time and learning to render in the shadow. So if it's in direct light on your subject, I want no tone whatsoever. I just want the white of the paper there. Does that make sense? I don't know, guys. I don't know what it is, but I state this, I've been teaching for almost 15 years now, and I state clearly and as vehemently as I can when I give this assignment to leave the lights out. And invariably, a handful of students either don't get it or ignore it. I think what's happening is they start to panic. They're doing something that's new. Maybe it doesn't fall into place. And so they drop back into old habits rather than learning something new, gaining new skills. They drop back into mindlessly copying what they see or doing what they already know how to do well. So maybe they come out with an okay drawing. They haven't learned anything new. Don't let that be you. Take advantage of these assignments. You don't have to draw the way we're drawing in these exercises for the rest of your career. They're exercises, but they're designed to give you a specific skill, something that's going to grow into wings and make you fly. I'm serious. These principles will take you there. And one other tip, one thing I absolutely want you to do that's a key part of this assignment. I guess I'm falling into a gripe session, guys, but I don't know if you don't mind hearing it from me. The handful of students that didn't follow the assignment, when I look at their piece and see that it isn't what I asked for, one of the first things I asked them was, what was your light source in this? And invariably the answer is something like this. Well, I was in a room, it had open windows, and then there was a desk lamp over here on, but then there was overheads and, the bathroom door was open, so there was this, oh my gosh. I want to cut them off and say, did you hear me last week when I said turn on a single light? It's okay if there's ambient light in the room. It's okay if there's window light. It's okay if there's light overhead. If there are distracting lights, close the bathroom door. Get a cheap sheet, throw it over the window. It's simple, quick to take care of. Your assignment is to have one single dominant light source. Now you are going to need ambient light. It will be fine to have overhead lights on, or to work outside in the sunlight, or to have an open window, because you will need ambient light to do this assignment. What you also need to do this assignment is one point source dominant light. You can get a $15 desk lamp over at Rite Aid, clip it to the back of a chair, draw yourself, because if you don't have a model or someone else you can draw, put it a few feet, maybe 2 or 3 feet away from your head. That's all it's going to take. It's going to take a few dollars and a few minutes of extra setup. So I want you to go ahead and get right to your homework assignment this week. Go ahead and dig in and render those shadows so that they read beautifully as form. And next week, for our lesson, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a full-length demonstration for you. So our time next week will be spent working out in detail, showing you more ideas and a little bit more hands-on about parsing what's happening in the shadows, as well as revisiting, addressing how to handle rendering form in the light. Good luck to you. So the lesson is over. And if you have a meeting with Steven Spielberg right now, by all means, turn the video off and go.